So welcome to Jodie and Alicia. Thanks for taking the time to have a bit of a yarn and Zoom with me in relation to NAIDOC Week. So as we know, NAIDOC Week is normally during July, but in this crazy world that we're living in at the moment, it was delayed or postponed, and it actually commences on Sunday coming, the 8th. First Sunday, the second Sunday of July normally, but this time the first Sunday, the second Sunday of November. So I thought it'd be really interesting to let some of our viewers know a little bit about what is NAIDOC. I mean, we know we've all been raised on NAIDOC activities and all those kind of things. So I thought it's a really good opportunity, because we're not actually hosting any events, that we could do a Zoom session, and our supporters, all our fans that watch us on our website and other social media platforms can get a better understanding on what NAIDOC is. Sound good?
Sounds great.
I'm glad you said that, Jodie, because you're first up. Jodie, can you explain to our viewers what NAIDOC stands for, and if you're up to a little bit of information historically?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Deb. Great to be joining two fabulous black chicks and talking about NAIDOC. It's a bit of a different time in this delayed. It's hard to get used to NAIDOC being in November, but as we all know, it wasn't always the case that it's been in July.
Oh.
And NAIDOC actually stands for National Aboriginal Islander Day Observance Committee, which sometimes today we say Day of Celebration, because the origins of NAIDOC stem back to recognising past movements that were really in protest of fighting for rights and recognition for Aboriginal people. In fact, stems back to way back in the 1930s and the National Day of Mourning, that an Aboriginal, our people, our ancestors and uncles and aunties and people before us fought for rights for Aboriginal people. Today we see a real embracing of NAIDOC in a day of not just recognition but celebration. And for me, that whilst we use the acronym freely and we don't go to saying National Day, Day of Celebration, that NAIDOC really is certainly about recognition, but an opportunity to come together.
Awesome. Great information, Jo. A photo of you, Alicia. So tell us, what does NAIDOC Week actually mean to you? What is it that draws you into the NAIDOC activities every year?
I think Jodie just said it just then, but I think it's just coming together and celebrating those that came before us and celebrating those that are achieving at the moment. I think is there's a lot of deadly people out there that are doing really good things. So I think that we need to celebrate and acknowledge that, but also acknowledge those that did really, really good things before us.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Jo? What do you think for you? So NAIDOC Week, we all get to come together. For me, it's really important to come together, not for a funeral, not for sorry business. So NAIDOC Week is one of those activities, one of those weeks where we come together and we celebrate and we get to share our knowledge and our culture with non-Aboriginal Australia as well. But for me, one of the most important things for NAIDOC is coming together in celebration and seeing family and friends and not being there to bury one of our loved ones. So for me, NAIDOC is a huge, huge celebration, and this year just feels a little bit weird, but, you know, it is what it is, and we'll do bigger and better next year, I suppose. But, Jo, what's your favourite part of NAIDOC?
Too true, eh? That it's a sad thing that too often our big coming together moments are at funerals. It's certainly been my experience, and whilst we're busy at 24/7 and working with our mob and driving change and active, whether it's in the political space or in service delivery or doing and bringing our mob together, you know, we shouldn't have to have a week to do that, but reality is we do, and to bring a spotlight to say, hey, even from a sharing of knowledge perspective, it brings some visibility and a spotlight to understanding more about Aboriginal Australia, history, current, but importantly, I love the celebrating part. But there's so many great events. I love a great flag raising in recognition of coming together to kick it off I love the march, which is really about solidarity and movement and the way ahead. I love the ball because it's about everyone getting all dressed up and being at our best and having a dance and enjoying and celebrating and being together. The great Children's Day activities, there's just, it's an endless list. And the more organisations come on board, the more opportunities there are to celebrate for our mob, but also bringing in the whole of Australia to come together. So I love the opportunity to come together, have a spotlight, have a yarn, and just connect and show off what's deadly about our mob and our culture.
Perfect. What about you, Alicia? Do you have a favourite NAIDOC activity?
I think my favourite would probably have to be the march. I love just getting around everybody. There's a lot of people there that you see that you haven't seen for a very long time. I just love to, I guess, connect and have a whole day of just acknowledging and the movement that Jody just spoke about. Like it's very moving to be a part of something like that. And that's probably my favourite. And then up there with the children's activities as well. I'm a big kid at heart, so I do love going to those ones as well. Yeah,
they're pretty good, aren't they? Hey, I'll just one last question for both of you, and it could even be the same answer. But so here we are saying, we love it, and we try and involve our non-Aboriginal family and friends as well. Jode and Alicia, what do you reckon is a good way to involve non-Aboriginal people in the likes of NAIDOC Week and Reconciliation Week in May? Any tips on for those people out there watching how they can get involved?
Yeah, it's a good question. I know it's different in each community of what does happen, but I think keep an eye out on the media. The key message to remember is that it's certainly a more the merrier opportunity. It's not just for our mob. It's very much about coming together, all of Australia, recognising, celebrating. It's a really positive emphasis. You don't have to have a role. A lot of workplaces might run activities. And if you don't have an activity, why not have an activity? Whether it's about bringing in a guest speaker or sharing some information. It doesn't have to be specifically on a NAIDOC themed. It can just be about a spotlight on a person or a hero or an event or any storytelling, anything that brings a positive spotlight, an opportunity to celebrate, come together, connect, and be proud of our Aboriginal identity as part of Australia.
That's great, and you're right, definitely right. The more the merrier, absolutely. What about you, Lesh? Any ideas around that?
Look, I'm not sure I can back up what Jody just said, but it's definitely look, I just obviously reiterate exactly what she just said. It's a lot about as well asking questions. Like I know that my workplace is a very big organisation, and last year during NAIDOC we actually had a couple of people that are non-Indigenous that I guess got up and told stories about their own journey and things like that. So I guess connecting and engaging with everybody and making sure that everybody feels welcome, I think is the best part.
Absolutely.
What about you,
girls?
Deb? You've been the queen of NAIDOC many a time for a few now.
We won't go into all those stories though, will we? No, I would strongly suggest that so for our supporters and fans out there watching this, keep an eye on all our social media platforms this coming week. We're trying to run a story every day, whether it's about our Aboriginal players or some NAIDOC activities that we've held in the past, some great footage of community camps and things like that. So working with our digital team, there's some great stuff there. Social media goes crazy during NAIDOC week, so it's a really good opportunity to get out there and amongst it. And as I say to people, there's no such thing as a silly question. If you've got a question, reach out. We're all obviously part of the club and can be contacted through the club. But most of all, get out there, enjoy, get involved, and hopefully every single person watching this takes something away from NAIDOC and the meaning of NAIDOC moving forward.
Hey, Deb, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Welcome, Alicia, to the Pies. Go Pies. So good to
Thank you very much. I haven't even put on the Collingwood gear yet and I'm already doing an appearance, so I already feel like I'm part of the team.
That's a good effort. Just for the fans, wearing what number, Alicia?
Number 16, which I'm lucky enough to carry over from my previous team. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Folks, watch out for this girl and keep your eye on her because she's fast. Blink and you'll miss her. Happy NAIDOC, girls.
Great to see you.
Happy NAIDOC.
Thanks, guys.